This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Good morning and thank you for watching KVUE News Daybreak at 4:30. I'm Yvonne Nava. Hold on. My seat's good. Okay. Let's get a look at what we're tracking with storm team meteorologist Erica Lopez. You've got to be comfortable, right? We've got 2.5 hours ahead of us.
I know it starts right now. Talking weather for your Tuesday. Here's a look at your current conditions as you're heading out the door. Temperatures in the 60s right now. It's still another muggy start to our morning. Dew points in the mid 60s or so. Yesterday we were in the lower 60s, so a little bit more muggy as you're heading out the door this morning. A light wind is to blame for that. We are still seeing a southeast wind. That's going to be the case all day long today. Coming in anywhere from 5 to 10 miles an hour. Slightly breezy at times, up to 15 miles an hour this afternoon is something you could keep an eye out for. Here's a look at your temperatures right now. 65 in Bastrop, Lockhart. You're a couple degrees cooler than that at 63 degrees. Mid to upper 60s for Fredericksburg and Llano at 70. You're the hot spot for this morning. Dew points are in the 60s, like I mentioned, lower 60s across the entire board. I am talking some rain shower chances in your forecast today. Also for the next couple of days, so I'll break that down. Only a 20% chance for an isolated shower the start of your Tuesday, though. Yvonne, back to you.
All right, thank you so much. Well, new this morning, investigators are trying to figure out what sparked a fire in a vacant home in South Austin. The fire broke out after midnight on Cherrydale Drive. That's near William Cannon and Manchac. The house was on the market to be sold. No one lived there. No one was hurt. The fire started in the attic and destroyed about 40% of the roof. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is taking legal action against several Austin city officials who stand against Senate Bill 4 after Governor Greg Abbott signed it into law Sunday night. The measure bans so-called sanctuary cities and would require law enforcement to comply with federal requests to hold criminal suspects while their immigration status is investigated. Paxton is asking U.S. District Court to uphold SB 4 as constitutional. Paxton says the suit will help prevent opponents from filing multiple lawsuits. Named in the suit, we have Travis County Sheriff Sally Hernandez, the City of Austin, Austin City Council member Greg Kassar, Austin Mayor Steve Adler. Mayor Adler says he welcomes the legal motion and says he will continue to speak on the community's behalf regarding SB 4, which is set to go into effect September 1st. To read statements from other city officials in response to the suit, go to our website, kvue.com. And opponents aren't backing down from their fight against the Sanctuary Cities bill, which they say opens doors to discrimination against the immigrant community here in Austin.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, SB 4 has got to go.
Yesterday, protesters took to the streets facing the governor's mansion, and this time, state leaders and a Texas congressman joined them for the fight. Austin City Council member Greg Kassar, State Representative Rafael Anchia, and U.S. Congressman Lloyd Doggett were with the crowd on Monday. They all say that the discriminatory bill won't hold up in court.
How it is and why it is that the state can suddenly become involved in the enforcement of immigration laws, I think raises some serious legal issues. And I hope that this law will be challenged not only on the streets, but in the courtrooms, because it is fundamentally wrong and unjust.
All right, so here's the breakdown on SB 4. It requires all Texas law enforcement to honor ICE detainers and allows police to ask people who are detained about their immigration status. Critics say it amounts to racial profiling, though, but supporters say the law keeps people safe. 4:33 is your time. President Trump's second executive order limiting travel from some Middle Eastern and African countries faces another legal challenge. The ban was halted temporarily on 2 occasions by federal judges in March, and yesterday was the first time an argument on the revised order reached a court of appeals. ABC's Cecilia Vega explains why the president's words during the campaign are now being brought to the forefront.
In a Virginia appellate court, one of President Trump's most controversial campaign promises came back to haunt him.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Plaintiffs say that is proof the president's travel ban temporarily restricting people from 6 majority Muslim countries at its heart is a Muslim ban. Lawyers for the Trump administration argue the president's statements before Election Day don't count.
Generally, they shouldn't get much weight because you haven't taken the oath of office to uphold the Constitution, you haven't formed an administration or consulted with them.
But some of the 13 judges skeptical.
So you're saying then the president could say that every day as a candidate for a year, I intend to ban Muslims. They are bad people. And then the first day in office he does that. You're saying that none of those statements could be considered?
Another judge weighing in.
He's never repudiated what he said about the Muslim ban. It's still on his website.
Why does the president's website still explicitly call for, quote, preventing Muslim immigration?
I'm not aware of what's on the campaign's website. You'd have to ask them.
If it's still on the website, if the president's words are being used against him in court today, is it worth you clarifying that once and for all?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why I've been very clear. I don't think I need to clarify what we have said or what the president said.
And within minutes of our question, that Muslim ban statement wiped from the site. Back in February, when the courts first put the executive order on hold, the president warned potential terrorists would pour into the country. And have you seen any evidence that that's been the case in the 3 months since this ban was lifted?
I think that's a question for the Department of Homeland Security. No, I personally...
And with only 140 days in the Texas legislative session, the clock is ticking to pass bills, and many have already died. Yesterday was the last day for the House to vote bills out of committee. Lawmakers held quick meetings at their desks to vote bills out, but even then, it's unlikely those bills will make it to the House floor for a vote because representatives are running behind on their calendars. And on top of that, Thursday is the last day reps can vote on any House bill, but all hope isn't lost. Lawmakers still have ways of sliding bills in.
A lot of people will start putting their bills on other bills as amendments, so you see bills that are sometimes 4 and 5 bills.
After Thursday, the House can only consider Senate bills. 4:37 is your time, and the family of a man shot and killed by 2 Austin police officers over the weekend. They're sharing their thoughts on the shooting and their loss.
We still in shock. I mean, everybody's just hurt right now. We all consider each other brothers and sisters.
Years old, a family is forced.
Well, it happened on 6th Street around 2:30 Sunday morning. Investigators say 24-year-old Landon Nobles fired a gun in the air after a heated argument and then at officers while they chased after him. That's when the officers returned fire as crowds watched. But his family, who also witnessed the incident, says there's more to the story than what police are saying. His cousin says he saw an officer throw a bicycle at Robles, causing him to fall down, and that's when his gun went off.
A bicycle, and she threw it at him, like at his legs, and he kind of fell. When he fell, a gun went off.
They used deadly force, and that's not right.
Austin police matched Robles as the shooter by using public safety cameras. The family is now demanding police release those videos to see exactly what happened. Both officers are on administrative leave while the department investigates. An Austin police officer has been fired after leaking secure information about a sexual assault investigation to the suspect in the case. A disciplinary memo from Interim Chief Brian Manley says Officer Carlos Mayfield admitted to accessing records excuse me, without authorization and then relaying some of the details to the suspect. The memo says Mayfield told investigators he accessed a police report for an ex-girlfriend who is a mother of the suspect. The DA's office eventually dropped the compromised sexual assault case and refiled a new assault with injury charge. Well, the Coast Guard is searching for an Austin man who went missing fishing on the Gulf Coast. The Coast Guard says they've been searching for Kevin Farrell in Copano Bay. This was since Saturday, and this after a Good Samaritan reported him missing. It was reported that a small craft was found idling with a fishing pole and cell phone in it, but no one was on board. The University of Texas is urging students to report any offensive flyers found on campus. One found on West Campus this week reads "Frats Bash Back" and features a picture of the student who had been stabbed to death on campus last week. It also urges Greek Life students to form safety squads to protect themselves from, quote, the anti-white establishment on campus. University police are aware of the flyer but are not looking into it because it was posted off campus. Well, in parts of Florida and Georgia, wildfires are forcing new mandatory evacuations this morning. Firefighters are battling more than 100 fires in Florida alone. One fire has burned more than 133,000 acres and has forced more than 2,000 residents to evacuate. The fires are so intense that the smoke can even be seen from space. Let's get another look at our forecast with Erica Lopez, and some chances for rain today, right?
That's right. A very small chance for an isolated shower, possibly some patchy drizzle as you're heading out the door this morning. Our atmosphere is so saturated, but we don't necessarily have any lifting mechanism to give us any heavy showers. A live look outside, it's sticky and muggy, dew points in the mid-60s. Temperatures in the 60s for ABIA, 66 at Camp Mabry. Hill Country, you're waking up to temps in the mid to upper 60s also. 68 currently in Marble Falls. Good morning to Fredericksburg. You guys are at 66. A couple degrees cooler than that for Harvard at 64 degrees. Austin, 68. Round Rock, 67, and a degree cooler for Georgetown. Lower 60s for the eastern counties. LaGrange at 63 degrees. So a light wind. Yesterday was breezy at times. Today, our winds sustained will be anywhere from 5 to 15 miles an hour. So you could have a possible breeze out there for the afternoon also. But again, keep in mind a 20% chance of an isolated shower. Patchy drizzle is possible as you're heading out the door this morning. Not everyone is going to see that patchy drizzle. But this is what your rush hour forecast looks like. We'll keep that 20% chance in your forecast all day long. It shouldn't affect your afternoon or evening commute. We're not talking any flooding concerns, but just keep in mind it may dirty your windshield or possibly your vehicle just a smidge. Back to you, Yvonne.
All right, thank you so much. Talk about flesh-eating bacteria. That's what we're talking about. It can make anyone cringe. This morning we verified the myths about it, whether or not you need to worry about beaches here in Texas. Plus a reunion 50 years in the making. A local mom comes face to face with her daughter, and our cameras were rolling when the two connected after 5 decades. How they found each other, coming up.